Hello Curious and welcome back. To this day, there are many people that fondly look back at the Jurassic Park movies, and especially the first one, which saw Laura Dern, Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum introduced as their on-screen characters to cinemagoers for the first time. And now the original trio is back together for the third installment of the second trilogy, Jurassic World, starring Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. But there have been some who weren't as thrilled with the more recent dino movies for various reasons. Without a doubt, many fans are now excited to see the original actors in action once again. So with the movie being set to hit cinema screens on June 10th, why have Dern, Goldblum and Neill decided to come back? Is it a way to mark the complete end of the dino story? Just how did the actors change over the years? And just how was this Dinosaur Imperium, originally based on a book by Michael Crichton, created? Stay with us until the very end as we jump back into the 90s nostalgia and the world that fascinated many as a kid. But before we continue, don't forget to hit the bell and subscription button to stay up to date with the hottest celebrity news. And if you want to support our work further, then be sure to give us a super thanks. The brand new Jurassic World Dominion movie is set to hit cinemas on June 10th. It is the third installment in the new dinosaur trilogy and it stars Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, who appeared in all three movies, as well as some new additions to the cast: DeWanda Wise, Mahmoud Afi, Campbell Scott and Omar Sy, to name a few. However, it is the returning cast of Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant, Laura Dern as Ellie Sattler and Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm that has everyone all the more excited for this flick. And of course, we cannot forget to mention the man behind all these creatures existing once again, Dr. Henry Wu, who appeared in the original trilogy as well as the newer one and who is played by B.D. Wong. Now, when it comes to the Jurassic Park movies, since the initial release of the first one in 1993, the films have captured the hearts and imagination of viewers since. But why exactly were they so popular? Of course, that answer might differ for each person. For some, it might have been due to their fascination of dinosaurs or John Williams' music score, while for others the idea of a shirtless Jeff Goldblum might have been very appealing. Though there are also other technical aspects to consider. An article for the Smithsonian had pointed out that the movie was a success because it combined spectacular visual imagery with an unfamiliar, exciting perspective of dinosaurs. And when it comes to those technical aspects, this is where Spielberg and his team had pioneered and created something that had stood the test of time. While the use of CGI was still in its early days when the films were being made, Steven did not want to lean too heavily on computer imagery alone. And so the team, which was led by Sam Winston, had mixed in real-life animatronic puppets with digital effects, as well as the careful use of lighting, and only turning to CGI when absolutely necessary. According to reports, with the first film a little longer than 120 minutes runtime and 14 dinosaur visual effects, there is only about 6 minutes of CGI. The first film was seen as a landmark in the development of computer-generated imagery and animatronic visual effects, and that was further proven after it won more than 20 awards, including 3 Academy Awards for its technical achievements in visual effects and sound design. Combine a story that many had heralded as one to lack plot holes, have well-rounded characters, visual effects that even 30 years later are still impressive, well-made suspenseful shots, a cast beloved by many viewers, and people's fascinations of dinosaurs, especially children, and you have a movie destined for success, or an entire franchise of them. When it came to the release of the first film, Universal had worked a long time to plan a marketing campaign that had cost them $65 million and included deals with 100 companies to market around 1,000 products. However, the money had paid off, as in its first weekend in the US alone, the movie had earned $50.1 million, and the film remained number 1 for 3 weeks. In its total run, the movie earned $357 million in the US and Canada, and an additional $500 million at the international box office. Of course, after the first film's initial success, there had been 2 more movies in the original trilogy, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 3, as well as the revived storyline in the 4th installment with 2015's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom as the 5th part, and now the 6th one, Jurassic World Dominion, out on June 10th. And while Steven might not have been the one to shout action with the brand new trilogy, he has worked on all 3 of them as executive producer. It has been reported that with all the movies combined since the first one in 1993, the franchise created by Spielberg had earned $5 billion at the global box office. So this brings us to now, and the return of what some had called the Golden Trio. While some fans of the original trilogy had mixed feelings regarding the Jurassic World movies, be it the cast or according to some over-the-top CGI, this cast return has gained an interest of some of those who were critical to begin with. But before we delve into why they have come back, let's find out what the stars have been up to since the original movies dropped. In the years since Jurassic Park 3 was released, Laura Dern had continued appearing in productions and expanding her career. The now 55-year-old was only 23 when filming the first movie, news that fans had recently found out and which had shocked them all. Some of the more notable productions that she appeared in have been Wild, Twin Peaks, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and Big Little Lies, to name a few. As for her male co-stars, over the years Jeff Goldblum had appeared in several well-known productions, and out of the three of them, he had also appeared in the second Jurassic World movie. Since the release of the first film, those who had fallen in love with Ian Malcolm had a chance to see the actor in such productions as The Grand Budapest Hotel, Independence Day, Resurgence, Hotel Artemis, and Thor Ragnarok. It is also worth noting that since 2018 he has also released 2 jazz albums on which he plays piano. And just like his co-stars, Sam Neill has also continued to be active in the industry on the side of owning his own vineyard and selling his own brand of wine. While he might not have always been in the top Hollywood productions, he does have 148 acting credits to his name. Some of the most notable productions include The Tudors, Peaky Blinders, Hunt for the Wilder People, as well as the 2 most recent Thor movies, Ragnarok and the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder. Given that all the cast have been active in the industry, while their return was a surprise for some, it was not shocking. Though fans have been wondering as to why they have come back now. After all, it has been over 20 years. In an interview with Gizmodo, Neil had touched upon what had made him return. He stated that it was partly due to director Colin Trevorrow's great and abiding affection for those characters and how he wanted them to be completely integrated into the Jurassic World. On top of that, Sam was also convinced by the idea of hanging out with Jeff and Laura again. As for her part, Laura remembered how important her character Ellie was, as women in tech and science were rarely seen, especially in leading roles, and to know that her character was an inspiration to many to go down that route has been amazing. And while her character was much different than leading ladies of many movies in the 90s, not wearing makeup, her feminist lines, Dern stated that it was important to her character and for her and the director to show how she would have changed over the years. So while we know why the stars chose to come back, what was the reason the director had for bringing characters back? While fans were hoping to see the original stars in the very first Jurassic World movie, many were disappointed by the fact that they did not appear and instead were given a whole new cast of central characters. And as Colin revealed in an interview with Cinema Blend, the story has finally reached a point where the new and old characters can organically be brought in together. Of course, the original Jurassic Park was referenced in the first movie, and Goldblum's character did appear briefly in the second one, and now their paths are set to be in the center. Some fans had questioned why the original child stars of the first movie were not invited back, given that Joseph Mazzello and Ariana Richards were fan favorites and in the past had expressed keen interest in coming back. However, it has not been revealed why they didn't bring these characters back, though Richard has since quit acting and decided to pursue a career as an artist. And some fans had argued that their characters weren't as important for the plot. But does this mean that this will be the definite end to the franchise? Many fans think that it might be the case, and some had even seen the fact that Dominion is released on the June 10th marks it the same date that Jurassic Park 1 came out in 1993 as a sign. And while for some time fans were theorizing that the release dates, the return of the original cast, surely means the end, that in itself was confirmed by Chris Pratt, who plays one of the main characters, Owen Grady. Appearing on the Today Show, the actor had confirmed that after 6 movies, this will be the end. Speaking of the presenters, the actor had said, "It's 30 years in the making. This is the 6th Jurassic Park film and the end of the franchise." Many fans had also agreed that coming full circle to Dern, Goldblum and Neil seems like the perfect send-off to a franchise that was most beloved by fans for such a long time. Especially after so many people were disappointed by the ending of Jurassic Park 3, where even Neil had commented that it ended abruptly and didn't really have a satisfactory end. And while that might be true for the time being, let's not rule out the world of dinosaurs making a comeback several years down the line. While Pratt revealed this is the end of the franchise, director Colin Trevorrow has some other ideas. Speaking of Screen Crash, he revealed that he would love to see what another young filmmaker would do with the material down the line. He also noted that nowadays, with movies constantly being rebooted or franchises revived, even decades later, people have been conditioned to believe that nothing ever ends anymore. So curious, it seems that while for now this is the last movie and a goodbye to the world of dinosaurs, there is a possibility for it to once again come back. So curious, what are your thoughts on the original cast coming back? Does that make you all the more excited for Jurassic World Dominion? What are your opinions on the last 3 movies in the franchise? And do you think that this should be the last movie ever, or should it be brought back sometime later? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and if you want to support our content further, then be sure to give us a super thanks. Until next time.